How's it going, everyone? Mike Moo here. I came back from CS. I got really sick. I'm still a little bit really sick right now, so I apologize for the way I sound. It's not usual, and I'm hoping to get better soon. Okay, so I went to CES, and I checked out the whole Segway booth and checked out some of their new e-rides. Very excited about the ones that are coming out. The one, obviously, I'm most excited about is the Segway Xyber e-bike, as some of my viewers are also very excited about as well. So I thought I'd talk a little bit more about it. And if you are interested in this at all, you need to know that there is a $200 off your pre-order, and that's only good through February 2nd, 2025. Don't wait until the end, because these things do tend to run out or sell out, or for whatever reason, end kind of early. So if you are interested in getting this, please use my affiliate link. I became an affiliate shortly after checking this out. And just so you know, I've been a big fan of Segway for a really long time. I ride their scooters, and I'm just a big fan of their stuff. So their scooters, their Stamp hoverboards started all the way back from 2016 for me. And, you know, back then they were known as Segway 9bot. So I don't know why I just waited this long to get one. Okay, so my main impressions about the Segway Xyber e-bike is that this is something that is unclassified, okay? That means that they are not willing to sell it as a on-road legal bike at this point in time, or at the point in time that I went to see them. All right, depending on whenever you see this video, you need to know that the first version that I have is not sold as a legal road electric bike, particularly under California rules. Okay, there are new rules going into effect. A lot of them are actually not going to go in effect until 2026. There's a lot of misinformation out there about the legality of certain e-bikes that are on the streets right now. And that stems around because something about the throttle. They're making sure that all e-bikes that are sold with a throttle, that means you don't have the pedal at all, and they're going to be sold as Class 2 e-bikes. That means also that they cannot exceed 20 miles per hour, nor can the motor exceed 750 watts of power. Now, if you take a look at this giant motor back here, on the back of this Segway unit, you might notice that it's quite large. Why is that? That's because that is a 3,000 watt motor back there, ladies and gentlemen. And that will run this up to 35 miles per hour. It is throttle limited, speed limited to 35 miles per hour at this time. So when you pre-order this, or if you pre-order this first version of this that is being released in February in limited capacity, you can unlock it up to 35 miles per hour. That's what that's the deal is. And there are some awesome stats about this. It does 0 to 20 miles per hour in 2.7 seconds. It has a peak torque range of 175 newton meters, which means you're going to accelerate pretty darn fast. You're going to be able to go up hills very well. Keep in mind that some of these statistics that you might be reading online require that you get 2 batteries. All right, your pre-order price of $3,000 minus $200 only comes with 1 battery. If you want to add an extra battery, it is $800, and that battery will fit right over here. If you see my other video, I pointed out, I asked them about how all this stuff fits, and they're basically 2 identical batteries in terms of size, and they are hard encoded to the bike. This is the most technologically advanced electric bike of its kind for its price. That's one thing I really love about Segway, is their technologies that they put in their products, and particularly in this Gen 3 electric scooters, and also covers these bikes here. So that includes the Xyber and the Xafari. I'll talk a little bit about the Xafari a little bit later. I'm not as excited about the Xafari because there's a lot of other e-bikes out there that fit in that range, but nothing quite fits in the range of the Xyber electric bike here. All right, so important to note, later on in Q2 and later, they will be producing for sale a version of the Xyber electric bike that will be road legal. Now, that means that they're going to add on turn signals on there. All right, so the front and the back, they'll probably have a different set of pricing. And also, depending on how some lawsuits are going on, the lawsuit to Super 73, by the way, Super 73 lawsuit in California, they're either going to start ahead and put in a lesser classification motor on there. That means that will just be at 750 watts, right? 750 watts, that's it. So you're not going to get the speed and acceleration of this one that you can pre-order now, but it will be road legal and potentially could be sold as an e-bike as such because of that. Or they could produce one that is an e-moto classification that is Department of Transportation legal, and then have a new, I don't know, maybe await a new classification. Just know that it wouldn't be an e-bike and that you would actually have it ride it on the road. And chances are, in a case like that, you'll probably need an M1 motorcycle license or something like that, which could make sense because let's face it, this does not look like what most people would consider an electrical bike. This looks more like a motorcycle, and it's the style. So when I asked real briefly about the release of that, they just said, well, expect, Q2, and it's still in the designer's still talking about the different designs that they might do about this, and that it might end up just being more of a styling thing. Okay, so you're not going to get the performance that you're going to get with this version of Xyber, especially if it peaks out at 750 watts of power. So you're not going to get the torque or the speed or the acceleration that you can get with this. That's one great reason why, if you're interested in this at all the way it is, you should pre-order it now. Okay. And who knows what will happen in 2026. There could be a stop order completely. This whole thing might still stand all that. There's a whole year for people to write to their congressman and ask them to make some of the changes. Write to your governor. Well, in our case, Governor Newsom, to repeal some of these things, or to give an extension on some of this, because I know for a fact just around my neighborhood here in Silicon Valley, there are plenty of people, myself included, that own e-bikes that would be technically illegal right now. Technically illegal to sell in 2026. And some of those regulations are really important because it stems around safety, right? The batteries have to be UL listed. You're not going to have a problem with the Segways here. Their battery technologies is excellent now, particularly the new stuff that's coming out. They even sell their own power cubes that are expandable, something that I actually use every day in the living room. So this is something that they've already taken care of. The main thing is just comes down to the regulation. All right. So some more of the details is that this is, if you're going to pre-order this, when you get to the pre-order page, you'll see that this first set of pre-orders are going to be limited to whatever dealer capacity that is available. And actually at the beginning will be, well, it needs to be kind of relatively near you because there's a good chance you need to pick it up, right? Or deal with the dealer to have it shipped to you. So there might be additional shipping charge. Obviously, there won't be a shipping charge if you go and pick it up. So that would be a really big factor for you as well, for some of you out there as well. Now, for me, there is one a little bit more close by, but because I already have an e-bike that actually fits this classification, fits this area of the Xyber, I'm going to wait and see for Q2 to see what their legal one is. And frankly, if their legal one just adds on just the side blinker lights, right, the left and the right, and that's all they do, it would make sense for me to just wait and to get that one. Who knows what the pricing is going to be on that one, and I really hope they keep the same motor on there as well. Because in 2026, it's going to be illegal for you to modify an e-bike and still call it an e-bike with adding on a motor that is more powerful than 750 watts. Okay, so those are some very good reasons why you should consider getting one now or sooner rather than later, because these things might end up being like collector's items. It's just something that you will not be able to use and moving forward, actually legally purchase moving forward from a dealer in 2026. So a lot of this stuff is up in the air. Okay. So one of the main things from my test ride is that I found that the system is super smooth. Everything is very well tuned in at this point in time. These bikes are ready to go. There's no jerkiness whatsoever. The power delivery is exceptional. somewhat similar to what I remember when I first got the Segway GT2 Super Scooter Series. Super smooth, super fast, power all the way through. There were no issues. Extremely stable. I think one of the feedbacks that I got from my brother Jim, who was there with me, and he's actually the one filming me on the ride right now as I'm going through this test course, is that it's not as nimble, and it's not meant to be. It is still a really heavy e-bike, all right? Heavy for an e-bike. So I believe it was like 120, 130 some odd pounds, and then you got it if you add on a second battery, and if you really want the best performance numbers and range, which is ridiculous at 112 miles for dual batteries, it's going to weigh a lot. You're not going to be able to really, the average person is not going to be able to just easily pick this up. And if you're going to transport this around, chances are you're also going to have to upgrade some sort of hitch rack mechanism to be able to transport this, unless you have a minivan or something and you're willing to put it inside. But they really thought everything through. I really like that they add a lot of the new weatherproofing on here. The cockpit is really well designed, something that I'm used to. For the GT2, I was a bit concerned about those controls, where those red marks are for the power and the changing of the modes on there. I had some issues before, but I think because they made this, they upgraded the IPX waterproofing, particularly for the battery. I think it's IPX7 waterproofing for the batteries, and I think maybe something close to that for at least their color displays, IPX7. So, it can stand to the rain and maybe a little bit of pressure from a hose. So if you're hosing down your bike, it's not going to kill it. But, there's still some concern with me about how it handles really wet, humid conditions because of the experience that I had with the GT2 and how it messed up the electrical function. So that remains to be seen. See, no one has a real unit out until February when this gets released. Another major thing that I've noticed about this is that they really added some great convenience features, and that really comes down to one, you got this expensive e-bike. How are you going to protect it from someone stealing it, right? So they have something called airlock. It's keyless locking. And it's great because when I get off the bike, so you see I'm getting off the bike right now, and I put down the kickstand, boom, it's locked, right? And if I have this paired to my phone, which most people are going to carry with them anyway, it also will unlock as you approach the vehicle and when you leave. So it's kind of like the Tesla of e-bikes in that sense, and it really gives you a sense of mind. So if I try to take this and push it off somewhere and roll it away, the alarm's going to go off. Okay, first of all, the alarm is not that loud. I'll tell you that right now. It's like 100, just short of 100 decibels. It's not ear piercing, and if you're on the other end of a parking lot or in a busy city, you're not going to hear it. But it locks up the motor, so you can't easily roll it. So now you're forced to lift it. And it's going to be flashing lights and all that stuff. And if you're within range, you will also get notification on your phone. Okay, so this is kind of similar to what we had on, at least for me, for the Segway GT2. And that, this just gives me a great peace of mind for daily errands. Like sometimes I ride over to, let's say, CVS. I want to just run a quick errand. I'm only going to be a couple minutes. I feel comfortable in just kicking down the kickstand, walking in, because I'm going to be within Bluetooth range for what I'm doing for picking up, drugs, cold medicine, etc. for pickup. I'm going to be right back out, so I'm not going to be too worried about it. It's going to lock up everything. Also, the two batteries or the single battery, when you do get it, or if you didn't order the second battery, they're all hard and coated to the bike itself. So you cannot just take this battery and stick it onto another bike to use. They're hard and coated, and they are linked right to your account. Just awesome. All right. So because the batteries are expensive, they're a huge part of the pricing of most e-bikes as well. So the two of these here would run $1,600 because they're $800 a piece out of basically a $3,000 bike when you include one of them. So it really makes sense to have that all locked down. All right. And another big question people have been asking is about whether or not you get the cover. Yeah, the covers are included. They just removed them and they're not in the pictures here. But there is a cover that goes over it. You'll see it in some of the promo pictures. Some of them you don't, and there's a lot of questions about that. And yeah, there is a little bit of a key lock that helps to keep them strapped in. But I will say the strapping mechanism, it does look like it is just like two tie downs coming down over the bike. I don't know why not many people have mentioned that, but it just kind of holds it in place during rough riding. The suspension is sufficient. The frame is really strong. It supports 400 some pounds, which is just ridiculous. Oh, sorry, 400 pounds. It's a durable cast aluminum frame. Very heavy duty. It's 4-piston brakes in the front and dual piston in the back. I saw these myself. I tested it myself. It's more than sufficient. They're not motorcycle class, obviously, because this is not a motorcycle. All right, it's still only 130 pounds or something like that. And you got 5-inch wide wheels. Okay, so, you know, just an excellent, I feel, deal for the price. And, you know, it's great that you also get an extra $200 off. Okay, so now if you're taking a look at this, and there are some accessories that are available right now, I don't know if I would get some of these accessories, but they seem okay. One thing I will say is that something that you might want to consider. All right, so if you don't want to charge it much, you leave it downstairs all the time. It's good to get the extra battery. And yeah, I'm not sure about the rest of this stuff. I will say what also surprised me. All right, so I'm over here in Sunnyvale. What also surprised me was that their helmets, the half helmet, was extremely comfortable. And it actually fits. The visor piece actually fits over my glasses. You see me wearing one in the video. And, oh, looks like the only one here that's available now is all the way up in San Francisco. That's interesting. There used to be one that was closer that I thought, but I guess no, that's it. That's the one. So it'll be up there. Yep, pick up at the store. So that's, you know what? It's because it's coming really close to the end of the pre-order pricing. Okay. There you go. $37.99. Don't forget to apply the discount code. I believe it's eBike 200, and it's only good through February 2nd. Yep, there's the $200 all the way up until February 2nd. So you don't have too many days left. And that's what I recommend if you're looking to get this right now. All right, so let me talk real briefly about the other e-bike. And that is a Xafari, also a really good choice. Pretty high end. You also get the $200 off discount on it. It's very smooth to ride. Definitely feels more agile if you are going over urban obstacles. It definitely rides more like a bike because it is. It's really lightweight. Whereas the other one rides more like a moped style type of bike, right? Kind of like a slower moving motorcycle with high fast acceleration is what the Xyber is. The Xafari is the legal e-bike. So if you are interested in getting a legal e-bike that will be legal in 2026 and moving onward as well, this is one to really consider. It's got the dual suspension on here. This is heavy though, because it is built really for the urban jungle. All right. It's got the front and rear suspensions, 80 millimeters of suspension in front, 70 millimeters in the rear. It has a similar app access and control that the Xafari has and their new Segway scooters. It doesn't charge as fast because the battery doesn't need to be as large. It's 4 fast charging. And I got to say, it is, and I mean, it's got the airlock like we just talked about, where you walk up to the bike and you can unlock it once it's connected automatically. Oh, also has built-in GPS. I forgot to mention that too. And also built-in Find My for Apple. I would still stick on an extra AirTag on these. But this is good, except if you really have to get a whole new rack to fit it, because this is still really heavy. It's got all the numbers that make sense. It rides extremely well. It looks futuristic, looks nice. They call it fun for the whole family. because it'll fit between a 5'1" person, 6'2". Too bad my wife's too short. She can't ride it, but it's okay. I already got her a bike. And she doesn't ride much anyway. It's got the USB-C ports and USB-A ports, same thing like the Xyber. And just most importantly is this going to be legal to ride. It's going to be legal to ride everywhere. All right, this will be sold as a class 2 to 3, 28 miles per hour max, and is available. I rode just, I think, 1 or 2 circles around. I spent less time with this bike. My brother Jim, he spent more time with his bike. He really, really liked it. If we didn't already have other bikes to choose from, this one is a great one to consider as well. It has the integrated rack and everything as well. But you know, the Xyber really could get your adrenaline pumping because of how fast it is. Now, just like everybody else, I wasn't able to test it past 20 miles per hour. It was speed limited and torque limited for the test track that they had. But let me tell you, it is a beast of an electric bike and would be absolutely my top pick if I didn't already have another e-bike that fits in this same classification and does the same 35 plus miles per hour speed thing going on. And the fact that I pre-ordered it over a year ago is just insane. And I'll talk a little bit more about that on my other channel called The Ride. But yeah, if I do get my hands on one of these to test ride some more further at the full 35 mile per hour speed limit, I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know. So let me know what you guys think. Is this something that you're interested in? Are you gonna wait and see, kind of like how I'm waiting and seeing in California? And just to be clear, if I didn't already have one that already fits this 30 plus mile per hour speed limit, I would have put in the pre-order for this, and it's still not too late, you know, for the discount anyway, through February 2nd. Links up top or below with the QR code, all that stuff. If you do get one and you watch my video, please comment down below. Let me know what you think about it once you get it. I'm really, really very curious how it feels given all the hype that you've seen, and whether or not, you know, any of these statistics that we've seen here make any sense for you. But the number one thing for me was how smooth and refined this whole bike and system feels. Obviously, they know what they're doing. Okay, they definitely know what they're doing. Oh, one other thing I want to mention. They have this area here for you to go ahead and put on mirrors. I don't know why they didn't include mirrors with this as an option, as an add-on. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And notice none of these people have mirrors on, and none of them also have the helmet straps on. But you know, that's just, they're just trying to sell you the look, coming from an Asian point of view anyway. So I thought that was kind of interesting. All right, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to put them down below and I will answer them. If you haven't seen my close-up video that I had where I showed up really close-up shots of the bike, I'll have it over here on the top somewhere here too. All right, thanks for watching.